Anything else from the week, even in terms of former players?
Did you disagree with the former players in
Nah,
their sentiments about like
No,
the toughness element of it, the steal away and stuff like that?
no, not necessarily. But yeah, it's hard to say because I think when you combine some of those statements, it goes back to whenever Claypool made the comments about music. You combine the statements from Clark, other former players, with us coming off that type of loss.
Yeah.
It's just adding fuel to the fire, really. Now, I think, I don't know if I want to say excessive bashing, but I feel like people are locked in on that stuff way too much right now, where it's like, all right, we got another week coming up. It is the NFL. Crazy shit happens. You have an awful week, and then the next week, team's looking good.
Yeah, I think from the guys that I've talked to and just the comments that I've heard and read from the older guys, it's not even about losing. It's about the manner in which they are losing. Because like you said, we've seen guys get blown out before. We've seen guys get beat before. Shoot, I've been a part of teams in Pittsburgh where we got blew out. It happens. But it's not one of the things that keeps reoccurring. It's not one of those things where you watch and you're like, man, this team just doesn't look like they want to be physical. This team looks like they don't want to engage. You know what I mean? Like things like that are so just not even counterproductive, but just it goes exact opposite of what the Steeler way has been for so long. I know for me, when I came over here from Buffalo, that was one of the things I kept thinking about was like, man, this is standard that is here. I mean, a certain physicality. You think about your James Harrison, your Lamar Woodleys. You go back to your Joe Greens, your Lamberts, your Hams. It's like, man, these
even those
dudes,
80s and 90s defenses were pretty badass.
I'm like, man, your Greg Lloyds, your Kevin Greens, like these dudes were with it. They were trying to knock your head off, even if they got beat, because let's not act like they were undefeated. Like all those guys got beat, but they weren't going to just take it. It never looked like they were going to be content with being beat, content with being out physical, content with being blocked or getting, your tackles ran through or not protecting the quarterback at times. And I think that's the biggest reason why so many of the like alumni players are frustrated, because it's like, man, well, we all have shared in this legacy to get it where it is. Some have had crazy impact, others a little bit less, but we've all done something to help it get to where it's at. So when you watch it, it's like, well, dang, we put all that work in to build up this nice house, and you got these new kids in here just messing the whole crib up. Like, I think that's another reason why it's being talked about a lot more as well, man.
You know what this stretch reminds me of a little bit? And you were on the team, I think, back in 2014.
Yep.
And this goes to my point where you could have a bad game, a bad couple games, and all of a sudden turn it around and your season's in a different place. It was after the Browns game. Brian Hoyer. That was an embarrassing loss.
They put 38 on us that game.
38. They were running all over you guys. Yep. Offense looked terrible. The next game, Texans, we win. I think that was Martavis Bryant's first game, and then Ben throws the back-to-back 6 touchdowns. Yep. So a lot of things can change. And I remember a lot of the former guys. It was Bill Cowher, Hines Ward. There were a couple former Steelers that were going in on the Steelers defense and just how we were carrying ourselves in that game. Yeah. There was a lack of physicality. The Browns just ran it down our throats. So that's my point in terms of like, all right, we got the comments. You got a day for that, I guess. It's just move on, though, because I don't think any of the players are thinking that they're soft on the inside. If anything, it could be used to a positive advantage, though, because sometimes you need that negative energy to get the extreme positive energy, right? Because if everyone was just, oh wow, it's cool like this, then the players might be staying lackluster. Or just be like, all right, yeah, how we're playing is cool. But since we got that energy from some of the OGs, now they're like, could be a little wake up call, something like that.
And like you said, it's a good problem to have. I mean, we're sitting at 5-5-1, and this is how we feel. You rather it be like this because that lets you know our standard is excellence here. Whereas other places, I mean, they're not complaining about their record in Jacksonville. They're not complaining about their record in Detroit. They're not complaining about their record in Houston. But our legacy, our standard is different. And that's what makes it so dope. That's why we're able to do shows like this, because we're so passionate about it. But it does come with expectations. And right now, those guys got to step it up, man. But be a great week to do it, man. Rivalry week. Holiday season. And during holiday season, we got to make sure we look right.
Oh, yeah.
We got to make sure that we, high and tight, nicely trimmed. We support Bush, but we don't want Bush. You know, we Manscaped that.
Right.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about Manscaped and their Lawnmower 4.0. They do a phenomenal job of keeping it trimmed up the way it's supposed to be. The leaders in the below the waistline grooming. You don't want to miss out on the awesome things they have going on. Not just their Lawnmower 4.0, but what about the shampoo, the 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner? Keep the hair flowing, the lovely locks that you got going on.
Thanks.
You see how mine is looking sharp, looking sweet. I mean, it's top notch. It's first class. You can't beat the Manscaped, people. And on top of that, we got promo codes. Promo code BMOTS, ladies and gentlemen. You use that 20% off along with free shipping. So take care of your yard, okay? Keep that grass low so the trees will continue to show, and you'll make that stocking be stuffed the right way. So with that being said, man, shout out to Manscaped.